Welcome to CS147 section 1. Though our class has been cancelled, that means we don't have a live online Zooming session about today, but what I decided to actually record a video for the informations that I wanted to share with you today. I'll post it in the Canvas and the YouTube channel for you to review. There are one protocol I want to mention during the Zoom session from the next day. I hope the next day's class is not also cancelled. I hope so. So when you join in the Zoom session, please make sure your microphone is turned off. I found from the last semester that is one way to keep the Zoom meeting noise level very low. So please make sure you do that. Keep your microphone mute. If you have a question, raise your hand. Means there is a tool of, I think, in the meeting, Zoom meeting interface, there is a raise hand functionality. You do that, and then if I address your name, then you ask your question or answer question, etc., or talk at that point. Just please don't start talking in between, like without addressing to you. And that's one thing. There are some difficulties, will be some difficulties, I believe, because this is the first time we are trying the full online class, and I'm trying new features like polls, like breakout rooms, YouTube channel, like YouTube live streaming. Those things will have hiccups like before setups, and we'll probably all learn from that, and possibly as the semester goes, your experience will be smooth and smooth. Another difficulty is, like probably you already recognized, I have an Indian accent. Okay, my origin is in India, and especially eastern part of the India. I have an accent, I agree, and sometimes it may be problematic for you to follow through my talk. Please feel free to request me to repeat at any point of time if you don't get a point. Okay, so please feel free to communicate with me if you don't understand one of my sentence or one of my talk. I can repeat for you. Okay, as much as I can, to make you understand through this class. At this point, now let me share our class page, and first let me do some instruction for the late registration student, especially for the Open University student. Let me see where my share screen. This one. Okay, so this is 147 computer architecture class that you will find the home page at your Canvas page, and in the announcement section I'll go there and I'll just make you attentive to this announcement, instruction for the late registration students. So let's say you are already registered in the SJSU system and you have a Canvas access, then you should not have a problem to access this course, Canvas course, because I have set the visibility level of this course at the institution level. So you should be able to find it in the Canvas, as long as you have access to this sjsu.instructor.com, that Canvas server, then you should be able to access my course. Again, you can have information about the Zoom session, you can come to my class, and so on and so forth. And as far as my understanding goes, like from today morning, that is August 19 morning, students can register in this class as long as there are seats. I know there are open seats. I believe about 19 open seats there. So you can register yourself. You don't need an ad code till August 27th, 11:59 p.m. You don't need that code. Starting August 28th, all students will need a permission code to be added to the class. However, let's say you are able to add yourself or register yourself into the class, you still need to send me an email with a subject line exactly like this, CS147,1 let registration request, with email body with name, student ID, and SJSU registered email. Okay, so these three would be there, and only these three would be there. Just don't write any story. I don't want to hear your story. Okay, you want to register in the class, that's the end of the story. What information I need? Your name, your student ID, and your SJSU registered email. You send this email to me, and I will send you a survey link. That is very important that you finish it by this Friday, August 21st, 11:59 p.m. In order to make sure you get into this class. This is basically a prerequisite survey. It has a couple of questions there, and you upload your transcript and all this stuff. And you make sure, I make sure at the end of the week that you have the required prerequisite to join in this class. So make sure you do this by this Friday. Now for the Open University student who even doesn't have already have a registration in the university and doesn't have this SJSU Canvas access, you also need to send me an email just like this to my SJSU email ID, kaushik.patra@sjsu.edu, CS14701 let registration request, like a subject line. You put your name. On the student ID, you put like Open University student, if you don't have a student ID already, and you send, instead of SJSU registered email, you send the email that you are going to register in the SJSU system. Let's say you have 10 different email address. You send me the one you are intending to use for SJSU registration. So please make sure you use that email address. Now, once you send it, I will send you the survey link, and you fill it up. Hopefully by this Friday, 11:59. That's the deadline. And then I see that you have all the prerequisite, and I'll give the ad code. But that ad code will be distributed only after August 31st. Okay, I won't be giving ad code before that. Now, thing is, how are you going to follow through the class? Through my YouTube channel. I think a couple of you has sent me email already, and I indicated my channel address, HTTP address there, YouTube's address. Please follow through classes through that channel. I'm planning to go live on the class session so that you don't miss anything, and those live sessions will be public, so you basically watch them. Okay, and if I haven't sent it already, once I get this email, I'll make sure, if I see that you are an Open University student, I'll make sure to include my channel link in my reply. Okay, so so that's the process for the Open University student. Please bear with me till August 31st before I distribute that code to you, and watch the classes over the YouTube live. There's no major submission before the last join deadline, so don't be worried about that. You are okay. As long as you follow through the live classes, you should be okay and good, and you are okay to send me any questions you have through my SJSU email. Okay, I'll reply to that one. Okay, so what else? Basically, then from the front page, this is the one thing you want to start. Everything you need to know about the course. There are 5 videos that you need to watch and you're mandated to watch basically all these 4, otherwise you cannot proceed to the next module and so on and so forth. This page also has the timings and my office hour. So for your class, every Monday 4:30 p.m. to 5:45 p.m. PST, it will be walking in the sense you just step into the Zoom meeting corresponding. We are all virtual this semester. The corresponding Zoom meeting information are in Canvas Zoom page. For Wednesday, I have office hour 4:30 p.m. to 5:45 p.m. but it is appointment only, means you need to send me an email 24 hours before and I'll send you a Zoom meeting information for that day. So that's Wednesday office hour is appointment only and Monday's office hour is walk-in. Prerequisite is very important for this class, CS47 or CMP 102 or equivalent with C- or better. That's a prerequisite for this course. If you think you don't have that prerequisite, please drop from this class. Otherwise, I will drop you. Okay, if I see that you don't have a required prerequisite, you will be dropped from me. Okay, so better you drop yourself. It's also assumed that you have prior knowledge of computer organizations and digital logic. That's actually a part of CS47. Sometimes people think it's assembly language. Not really. Okay, assembly language is just part of CS47 or equivalent study. There is a part, very important part, which is basically computer organization and digital logic. In fact, that is the core part of this course of CS47 or equivalent. Assembly language is just a sideshow for those classes. It should be, at least. Okay. Now there is another clause. You need to attend at least first 3 meetings. It is very important since our first class is disappeared, is cancelled due to natural cause. Next 3 meetings are very important. Okay, please make sure you present in those next 3 meetings. I have links to the textbook, no mandatory textbook. I have all described that in some of the logistics video, please watch it. There are activities, I have also explained them in those one of those videos above, those 5 videos. Mainly to prerequisite survey completion, that is the main one. And then there is this quiz setup and introductory discussion. You'll come to know what are they through if you watch those videos above these 5 videos. Now let's go through the syllabus a little bit. Okay, you can go through either here or there is a syllabus section there. Just click it. It will open up the syllabus page. Its many informations have been explained in those 5 videos. I won't be repeating that in this session anymore. This is timing and everything. Main thing is that this uses flipped method. Means I don't lecture during the class hours. All my lectures are pre-recorded and already uploaded, and you can access through the Canvas, all of them. And those are also available in the YouTube channel. At least module 1 I have uploaded already. You can watch them too there in that YouTube channel. In the class, we do hands-on and do pop quizzes, maybe doing pop quizzes, problem solving, and most importantly, you ask questions to clear up your doubt. Then we all discuss together about those conception issues. If you have any, we'll discuss them. So come prepared to the class with watching all the lecture videos, reading the lecture media, lecture notes that been given to the Canvas, and then you basically ask me questions. Okay, and we get into discussion mode. This is mostly student-led sessions. I don't talk much. I don't initiate talk. You guys initiate talks there, and we'll carry on. Okay, so that's very important. Another thing is that for practical experiments and everything, this is the tool we need. I think one of the video I have explained that at least the project 1 will actually walk you through this model sim installation and everything. That is the main part of the project one. That is being due, I think, early next month on September. So make sure you do it. So that's, I think, from the course format side. Course description, everything I have actually included them in the video. So let's not go over them again. Course goal, etc. Please go through them. I'll just highlight the important parts here in this green sheet page. Requirement. Okay, this is the important thing. All must complete syllabus agreement through August 21st before midnight, 11:59 p.m. Please watch out for this email. This subject line is this. It's already sent to the early registered student. It's from the Qualtrics, so sometimes your spam filtering thing, it's a spam email and send it to the spam folder. Please make sure if you don't get it on your inbox, go to the spam folder and check if it ends up there. About the activities throughout the semester, we'll have 3 individual projects, 4 quizzes, 1 midterm and 1 final. And all the details are already included in that previous 5 videos. And now we use lockdown browser webcam requirement. This is also something very important, but it is being covered in the one of the exercises that we have, like you're setting up your quiz environment. There is a task there. Please complete that. You will come to know about this thing. All this part has been described in one of the video. This part I want to discuss with you. First of all, you must join online video meeting on time. There will be a waiting room online. Join 5 minutes early. Okay, 5 minutes early join. I suggest you to keep your video on if bandwidth or other technical or any other reservation is a concern. Then that's a different story, but by default, keep your video on. So that's my initial preference, okay? We'll see during the Zoom meeting how it goes, okay? So if what I heard, like if there is a lot of load and all the people are streaming in their videos, Zoom used to crumble on the performance. So we'll watch out, like, and then take the step. If we see, okay, it is really a bad experience going to be with keeping on the videos and everything, then we'll turn off our videos, and maybe I will only turn on my videos on my end, and you just turn off video. In that case, I would suggest you to at least make your profile picture your photo, not a movie hero or a cartoon character or someone else, right? You do your profile picture so that I can at least get familiar with your faces. Okay, this is somewhat like I want to have a human touch during the virtual online classes. It is not a very comfortable feeling not teaching inside a classroom, but I think we'll all get over to that. But however, I at least want to make sure I know you at least by face. So please make sure you have your Zoom profile picture as your face, okay? Not other pictures or anything like that. Now all class sessions will be recorded and stored for the future reference. Please send me an email if you have any problem or concern with that. I assume by default you are giving me consent of recording and consent of publishing that record. So that's the default condition in this class. Also, I will stream my sessions in the YouTube video live, and we'll have public access. And by default, I'm assuming you are also consenting to that, to maybe appearing in the video or not, depending on what the class setup would be. So if you have any concern, please send me an email to that one. We'll work on that. I want to have this live session on the YouTube because of 2 things. One is that, as I mentioned, our Open University student, if there are any, they won't be able to join in the Zoom session prior to they actually register to our system. So we want to make sure that they don't fall behind and they can still watch the live session, somewhat keep up with the class. And secondly, let's say you have some problem with Zoom settings, some problems here and there, at least you can watch me on the YouTube live session for the class. At least you don't fall behind. That second point I want to raise. So that's why not only the first initial sessions, but I also planning to actually stream in all the sessions in this semester and see how it works. Okay. Attend the Zoom session, especially if the videos are on, with a business casual attire. Please, no funny business there. You all will be stepping into industry sooner or later. So let's keep it professional and just use business casual attire in a Zoom session. Also, students are not allowed to make audio, video recording or photography in the class session without prior permission to the instructor. I don't know why you'd like to record the session, because anyway, I'm recording and will be publishing. So there is no need. But in case you want to do that, please don't do it without my prior permission. Okay, you need to take permission from me. Now, course materials that I have developed and distributed with you, it's an intellectual property of me. Okay, so you cannot share it publicly without like my approval. Okay, you cannot distribute like my class notes, my exam questions, lecture notes, homework solutions without my consent. You cannot just publish it in some forum or some other website like Course Hero, like Check, or some other, like there are a couple of other I know. You probably know better than me on that part. Please don't do that. That's basically goes against in IP laws, intellectual property law. Okay. I hope none of you would get into the legal trouble by doing that. Then please keep your microphone mute during the class, because to lower the noise level. If you miss a lecture, you are still responsible for any material that discussed on that day. It's individual student responsibility to check validity of homework. I think these points I have explained in detail in one of the videos, 5 videos that I have shown you earlier. Please watch them out. Now, if one of you needs some assistive technology due to some disabilities, please work with the AC, Accessible Education Center, and they will communicate with me. Also copy me into your communication to the AC so that I am in loop, and we figure out the best way for your learning. Okay, so please communicate with the AC if you need any special arrangement. This is very important. Though we are online this semester, all the federal, state, CSU system and campus regulation and conduct, including the harassment and discrimination against other student or faculty, apply to the online environment as well, just it is in the face-to-face instruction. Okay, so no funny business there. No, don't go into some illegal trap, legal trap there, and that will make your life really hard. Okay, so please make all the interaction professional. Remember, you are going to get into professional world sooner or later, believe me. Okay, so no funny business. Email communication, etc. I have already explained that in one of the video. Please watch them out. What else? I think we are actually done with the green sheet review with you, the one I wanted to do. Okay, now I want to discuss about some some of the details of this course and what do you expect on this course. Let me share my screen with you first. Okay, and so we'll see about like this introduction to the computer architecture study as a subject. It's basically, we need to understand computer organization and architecture to understand how the abstract concept of the architectures are implemented actually in the hardware. We try to understand the handshake between hardware and software, and we'll review some of the advanced architecture for performance optimization. Means how a given program can be executed faster and faster with some hardware modification. So we'll try to do that as well. Now, if you look at the number of people related to the computer, and if we categorize them into groups, like user of computer will come as very large, like probably more than half of the world population is using computer in one of other form, especially after we have the smartphone technology is very popular in most of the world, and almost everyone is using them. Then we have some people who are involved in application development. So let's call them application developers. But number of them is small compared to the user. And then some people who are involved in system software and developers, if we count them, this number are much smaller than the application developers. In fact, like application developers is like, I have seen like middle school student, high school students are doing application development. So if someone put their minds into it, they can do it. Anyone can do it. Not this area. This area is need much more dedication and devotion of learning core concepts of computer science. So this is, we see less and less people, and I hope as a computer science student, it will end up here, not the application development area. That's my hope and wish for you. There are hardware developers which are much fewer, handful of hardware designer people in the world if you compare with the others. These people's coming from electrical, electronics engineering field, computer engineering field, and computer science field. Like for example, myself, I am related to somewhat the hardware industry. It's kind of bridge between hardware and software, you can say. But my original study field, like my bachelor degree was in computer science and technology, and then I did my master's in computer engineering. But even before I did my master's in computer engineering, I actually doing job like since 1999 in the field where we need both concept and theories of hardwares, like electrical electronics theories, and the softwares, especially the algorithms and stuff like that. This is a very, very, very specialized area, I would say. So the point is that as a computer science people, don't think you are just bound within this system software and application development area. You can actually step into this business as well. Okay. So, but I think in general, as a CS personnel, you will end up in these two areas, application development, system software development. Then why should you care about the hardware, right? Apart from the fact this has been a mandatory course for you for the undergraduate study, and you want to get the degree, right? Apart from that reason, why would someone actually care about the hardware if you are anyway going into non-hardware area as your professional life? Let's take an example. Like you all do software programs. And let's say there is a program we need to write to multiply integer by 4 in an array. Okay. Implementation is done by this. And you review this. What it does, basically it takes and float array, and then it basically go and pick up each element on the array and multiply by 4 and return from that whole API, whole method. What's wrong with that? Like can we make it faster? Okay, that's the question. Yes, we can do, of course, by doing this. You see that in the spec, it has been set as integers, right? It's nothing talk about the float, but this API is using float, okay, float array. So each element in this array is a floating point, and you say, okay, why it's a problem? Like it's a floating point. I can store an integer value in the floating point data, and I can multiply with 4. That it gives me the answer. Yes, it gives you the answer, but it's not efficient. Why? Because we know from hardware point of view, floating point multiplication is much slower than floating integer multiplication. So since our problem has given us this opportunity to bound ourselves to integer operations only, we can modify this piece of code by changing the data type to the integer and make the multiplication as an integer multiplication. It will improve the performance. Now, question becomes, can we do better than this? Okay, can we further improve this performance? Yes, we can do it by simply replace the multiplication with bit shift operation. So if we understand the representation of values in computing system, we'll see they are all represented as a bit patterns of binary sequence, like 32-bit pattern, for example, as an integer. And if a value pattern is multiplied by power of 2, 4 is power of 2, which is 2 to the power 2, then it is simply equivalent to do bit shift by 2 position towards the left bit shift as with the 2 position. They gives the identical result. Now, why it will actually improve my performance? By hardware construct, if we understand the underlying hardware, how this multiplication is done, we will understand integer multiplication is slower compared to the bit shift operation. So you see, like you can write a program which works logically, but you can make the program better if you actually understand the underlying hardware. Couple of other points, like as an analogy, what I always say is software development without knowledge of hardware is something similar. You are driving a car with a manual transmission capability in a cruise control mode. So you are practically not taking advantage of power of the real car in that scenario. You are just happy with the cruise control and automatic drive. Okay. Software development without knowledge of the hardware, just similar to that. You are actually not exploring the power of the hardware that you can do. You can do magic if you actually know underlying hardware in your software development field. Okay, so that's one point, that you actually need to understand what you are writing on. Okay. Secondly, programs can be tuned faster for performance and smaller memory footprint, as we just have seen in the previous examples. If you know the hardware, target hardware better, right? You can write actually optimized code for that target hardware. Debugging complex software often requires knowledge of the target hardware. Often the business decision needs prior knowledge of the target hardware. For example, let's say you are a manager in a data center, and you are trying to expand your data center with buying some, let's say 1,000 new computer. Which computer will you buy? Like there are many options for you in the market to buy the servers. Like how you decide? First of all, you decide based on your business need. You need to see what your data center is catering to. Is it like a web service? It's catering to the web services. It's catering to the scientific community for supercomputing power, or is it catering towards, let's say, gaming industry, which needs more like graphics manipulation powers and so on and so forth. So depending on that, you will choose a piece of machine which has superior integer performance for the web service capabilities, superior, or maybe like along with that integer, and maybe the network performance is better on that part, versus floating point operation is superior in case you are catering towards the scientific community as a supercomputer and stuff like that, versus you need a very good graphics chip on your hardware if you are catering to the gaming industry. So these decisions actually comes only if you know your hardware. So don't think as a software people you never need to deal with hardware. You will. Okay, at one point of time you will need to deal with the hardware itself. So it's better we understand this from the very beginning. Now, as a subject, understanding of hardware needs the background in the electrical engineering, and for CS study, it is a bit overwhelming, right? It's it goes with a lot of like very basic elements in the electrical, like resistance, capacitance, inductance, transistor modelings, and all this stuff, which is very, I would say, intense in electrical concepts. For CS study, it can be really, really overwhelming. The good news is that we can actually abstract all those electrical properties for our purpose in terms of interface models. Like we just need to know how they behave under certain conditions. We don't need to deal with all the nitty-gritty physical equation of electrical engineering and be happy at that point. So we will try to place ourselves at the logical and mathematical level. Okay, so that's where the CS person supposed to be good at, like logical thinking and mathematical thinking, and that's where we'll place ourselves to understand the hardware through modeling, abstract concept, and how these operational characteristics of that individual component in terms of logic, and then how to integrate in terms of logic, how the implication of the program we implement to go to the hardware system at the logic level. That's what we'll be targeting to do in this course. Essentially, it's architectural studies, kind of architecture creation is kind of a blueprint creation used in the other engineering field, like say civil engineering or architecture or mechanical engineering. They draw this piece and parts in the blue page. This is kind of planning of what you are trying to make. It's the same thing in the architecture, right? You are given a target problem, and you know different components are available in the market. Now, how you place them on a given space, like a laptop motherboard or something, or even on a chip space, let's not complicate our lives there. Basically, how do you take those components, combine them together to meet your end goal? That's an architecture exercise. So that's kind of, and that's why I'm saying it is kind of an equivalent to a blueprint generation in other engineering field. It is very equivalent to that one. Now, it is also a handshake between the software developers and the hardware developers. Remember the inverse pyramid I showed in past like couple of slides before this. So there is a field like system software engineering field and then hardware development. They interact with each other at the very low level. Okay, so they talk with each other. So they need to know actually language of each other, and this is the common ground. Computer architecture study is the common ground. Electrical engineers does it, electrical electronic engineers does it, computer engineering does it, and software engineering, computer science people does it. And that's where they meet together. So as a computer science people, you need to know computer architecture. Again, it's a common understanding between all those parties involved in the computing system. So what we expect in this course? So as a computer science, you are mostly will be dealing in your computer science graduation and undergraduation program, in application program, maybe something what to do with the operating system. So you won't be most of the time directly interact with the hardware. Okay, so and you are cushioned by everything. Like you cannot do anything wrong to the hardware through the application program, because your operating system will limit you. Okay, will catch you there if you want to do something wrong, very wrong and malicious with the hardware. What I'll do in this course, I'll just take out this cushion and will be exposed to the hardware part directly. In fact, in this course, we'll be building up the hardware from ground. At least the logical model of the hardware. We'll build a processor, a virtual model of the processor, and we'll see in our projects and lab that we can run a program like a Fibonacci number generation and stuff like that directly onto that system that you will develop from the scratch. So you will develop this hardware out of thin air, and suddenly it starts working and computing Fibonacci numbers. That's what our target is and goal is. So we'll have more hands-on approach. Project will be a major part of your grade. It's actually half of your grade is the project and projects. We'll review the basic architecture components and integration, and we'll review some advanced technique in the computer architecture to increase the performance, like pipelining and parallelization of the hardware. We'll review all of them in this course, and we'll understand what they imply to our software programs. This one, I have done it previously, green sheet, so no need to do it. I think that's all I wanted to share with you today, and I hope to see you all next class live. Hopefully it don't be cancelled again due to this weather condition. So let's hope for that best. And also, before I drop, I want to make sure that you all understand the prerequisites. Surveys need to be completed by this Friday, August 21st by 11:59 p.m. Please make sure you do it. Okay, contact me if you didn't get the prerequisite survey link and so on and so forth. Please do that. And make sure in the next class you cover the next day's topic and watch the videos before joining in the live session. So that's all. If you have any question, please send me an email or ask me in the class. And I hope to see you all through the Zoom session next day.